Hello everyone, this is Corey Cabral, Pro Staff with Frosty Fly. Here to show you a little pattern today has been very effective for me. I call it the Bead Head Mirage Back Scud. It's a Scud, sow bug pattern. Works really good for trout, panfish. I've caught bass on it. It's pretty much just an all-around good fly. You can use it for Czech nymphing, indicator nymphing, dead drifting. It's very versatile. In the vise, I have a size 14 Maruto Scud hook with a 3/32 brass bead. I'm going to start my thread behind the bead, bring it back here into the bend, trim that off. Next, I'm going to take some fine copper wire and secure that in down to the bend. Very magical material for me is the UTC Mirage Tinsel. Love this stuff. Creates a very good hotspot for the fish to see. Very reflective, so we're going to grab a piece of that in medium. If you're doing bigger nymphs, you would use large, or if smaller, there's a small size. So we're going to tie it directly on top of the shank, so that way when we pull it over, it's kind of creating a shell back. So I'll secure everything in there nice and tight. Now, I think another part of this pattern that plays to its success is dubbing. So this dubbing right here is a custom blend. It's Australian Opossum, brown, gray, and white Antron, and a little bit of sparkle dub. You can use Hemingway, ice dub, any of the sparkly dubbings. Just a little touch of it in kind of adds a little bit more of an attraction factor. Throw it all in a coffee grinder, a couple quick zaps, and it's beautiful dubbing. I've tried all kinds of different dubbings on this pattern, and this is just one that, can't really be beat. So we're going to put a dubbing noodle on the thread here. So I'm going to start the dubbing right at the bend here, and we want a nice tapered body. And we're just going to keep adding dubbing, small bit at a time, and working our way forward here. I put a pretty heavy body and put my dubbing noodles pretty tight, because when I pick this out, there's going to be a lot of fibers kind of replicating legs. So there we go. That's a nice profile for the body there. So I'm going to take my tinsel, pull it forward, hold it in place there with my finger, take a wrap, make sure it's sitting right, tighten it up. Another wrap, and then pull it over, and one more wrap just to secure it. Trim that off. Next, I'm going to take my copper wire, and I'm going to use that as a ribbing. This adds durability. Bring it forward to the front, and then wrap it off and helicopter the wire. At this point, I like to come in with a brush or a pick, dubbing pick, and start picking out the dubbing. Now this is the part with other dubbings I just can't find a mix that compares to this. When it pulls out, you can just see how buggy it is. So we'll do the same to this side. This little dubbing pick tool is just some Velcro, basically Velcro on a stick. You can put it on a popsicle stick and it does a really good job picking the dubbing out. Okay, that looks good. Now I've used brown thread here so that when I finish up behind the head, it kind of blends in with the body. But you can use a red thread, and then that way when you whip finish here behind the head, you're creating kind of a hot spot. So I'm gonna just whip finish here. On the head, and there's a little bit of a gap between the bead and the body here that I did not see. So if that happens to you, you can always just take a little bit of dubbing, dub a little noodle, push it up, and then kind of do a whip finish while you're wrapping that last little bit of dubbing there. There we go. Pick out there. At this point you can come in with your scissors, clean up any really long fibers. And there you have it. Doesn't look like much, but you can see here, if I reposition the light, it has that flash shell back. It's the right color for the sow bugs in a river that I fish a lot, the Grand River. Same color. I've spent a lot of time lifting up rocks and looking at all the different insects and colors, noting size and everything else. This pattern has contributed to my success catching a lot of resident browns. It's very durable. I've used this fish to catch over 100 panfish in a couple hours using the same fly. By the end it was pretty beat up, but that copper rib there really helps it. The bead on the fly gives it a bit of extra weight if you're nymphing in the rivers, things like that, but also if you're using it in still water situations for trout, panfish, it gives it a little bit of a weight, enough to start it sinking, but it's not so heavy that it drops like a stone. It's a very gentle descent, and it just drives the fish wild in still water situations as well. It's a very effective pattern. I never leave home without a dozen of these in my box. I tie them by the dozen because they're such a staple pattern for me. I really hope they do well for you. I'd be interested to hear how they work for different people in different areas. Please do give me any feedback. Good luck and tight lines.